I like manga as much as you like manga, right? Support your favorite manga, buy the releases. I know I do. All right, so I thought I might tackle. I'm not going to say tackle. It's more along the lines as I'm going to sit down, cry in the corner about my useless life. That's what I'm going to do. Excuse me.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
But no, no, no. I thought I would tackle the shitstorm that has become Isekai manga. You know, the one where some random protag, hopefully without protag hair, gets shit off. Like, okay, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of them get yeeted off into some alternate reality or some magical fantasy gobbity shabalama ding dong Scooby Dooby Doo bullshit. I've read some of them. Some of the stories of where they get sent, complete BS. Okay, now we all understand that there's some. I'm not gonna say generic plot that they all. Okay, there's a generic plot that they all follow. Some sequence of events, whether the protagonist dies, whether there's a call for help, whether they get summoned, whether they get yeeted into the void. There's always some sort of commonality between them. And I guess what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a look at some of the ones that do it a bit different. They're still same in, getting yeeted off into another world premise, but there's some very big differences in the story-wise. I guess we'll, okay, I'm not going to guess. I am going to cover those. I'm going to take a quick look at those and maybe a few more. Okay, this one is another favorite of mine in that this is one that is from a I guess you could call it a subgenre where someone who gets sucked into another world isn't a fighter. They're in a war. They're not a warrior. They're not really concerned with whatever conflict is going on. They're trying to remain low key and live out their own life as they see it. And I like this one because our main protagonist here doesn't have any discernible skills, doesn't have any real crazy powers. He only has access to an ability called the marketplace. And after he gets summoned, he, as you can see, gets very suspicious of the so-called war that's supposed to be happening and decides to check out because, again, would you say if you get, pulled into an incident and they say they're starving, they're fighting, and they're hurting, and they're struggling. But as you can see here, this guy doesn't look like he's struggling on his kingdom. And so our main guy here is really skeptical and suspicious and just decides to check out completely and go off and do his own thing. Unfortunately, not all of the heroes decide this. And he just leaves. And the moment he decides this, they toss him out. They don't even care. As you can see, his abilities and skills aren't that great. But, like I said before, he has access to this magical online marketplace where he could summon food and items from modern day Japan or effectively any country he wants through this online marketplace and bring them to him. He tends to use this to his advantage quite a few times. And as you can see, it tends to pay off for him in more ways than one. Now, keep this in mind. This becomes a big part of the story, is that he tries to remain low-key. There hasn't been any real major conflicts or incidents that he gets drawn into with what's currently happening in the manga. But this one airs more around the slice of life aspect of it, his daily struggles, his adventures. I'm not going to really call them adventures. This is like the meme, the Batman ordinary adventures, where it's just Batman doing ordinary things. This is more like that. This airs more on that. later on, he finds out that anything he prepares from the other world, food-wise, grants buffs and skill abilities, and basically makes people more powerful. And this becomes a very big detriment to him because what he cooks attracts a friend. This guy. And this guy becomes the thing that draws him into a lot of trouble and incidents throughout his adventures going on throughout the world. Humans, let me eat with you. Humans, let me eat with you. This is what it turns into. And ironically, this is how you sometimes make friends, best friends, with a lot of animals in the world. You feed them enough, and they'll follow you. And it's even worse because this guy is pretty smart. Doesn't even let him refuse. Look at this. That was delicious. Even so, who would have thought that you could satisfy me with so little meat? You've done well. Right. I will form a contract with you. Didn't you hear me? I meant to say, let's form a familiar's contract between you and I. And he gets kind of thrown off by this. A familiar, like a tamer from a web novel that I read. And this is where it gets ironic because, hey, I refuse. I refuse. Say what? He doesn't let him reject the contract. And this becomes his adventure with this big guy here. That's pretty much what the idea of this manga is. It's his adventures with the trouble caused by this big boy. This is another one of my favorites because, like I said before, it doesn't take the idea of the Isekai manga too seriously. And it's more fun than anything else because this one doesn't exactly poke fun at the tropes, but they're here. It acknowledges them, but they're not really important because our main guy doesn't really care about that other stuff. He's only concerned with effectively trying to live his best life as best he can with the situation he's been presented with. And as for the name of this one, pardon me if I butcher this. Tondemo skilled the Isekai Hourou Meshi. That's the name of this one. No one's translated it. This is just the name. I'm gonna call it Stuck in Another World with My Cooking Skill. But again, this is one on the list that doesn't fit the trope, but it does enough right that it maintains being an interesting yet comedic read, but not so much that you get bored of it. You get relatively tired of it because it's another world manga and the line of literal thousands of others that come out on a literal, like I kid you not. I was watching a watch list and literally within a span of about 5 minutes, 25 isekai manga that I was notified about that had the same general trope, several of whom were taking the whole harem route. I'm not saying it's overdone, but damn, dude, really? You really gonna do more of this?